diagnosing diabetes from human breath? You could start whenever you're ready.
30 million. That's how many Americans suffer from diabetes today. 100,000 of them die each year. These numbers are increasing. We diagnose diabetes using a blood test. But blood tests are inconvenient. We don't do it unless we have to. This causes delays in diagnosis. So a year ago, I asked myself the question, can we detect diabetes without doing a blood test? It turns out that our breath is a good barometer of our health. Lots of diseases leave traces of chemicals in the breath. People who have diabetes have more acetone in the breath. Acetone is a chemical compound. Now, if we can detect acetone, we can diagnose diabetes. But the concentration of acetone is very low, 1 parts per million. And detecting that is like trying to find one person among the whole population of Phoenix. So in order to tackle this difficult problem, in my research, I fabricated transistors, which are like electronic switches. They have voltage current graphs. But instead of using traditional semiconductor material like silicon, I used something called two-dimensional materials. These exist as a single layer of molecules. They have length and breadth, but no thickness. That's why the name two-dimensional material. Now, to understand why they are special, consider what happens if you are outside in the cold. You may have noticed that the tip of your nose and your fingers get cold first. And that's because they have much more surface area compared to the volume they occupy. Two-dimensional materials are similar. All the atoms are on the surface. They are exposed. And therefore, they can detect even a single molecule of acetone coming near it. So if you make a transistor with it, and if you breathe on it, the current would change. And the hypothesis of my research was that this change would be different for a person who has diabetes versus who does not. As the graph shows, the data supported my hypothesis. In fact, I'm very proud that this was the first ever detection of acetone at such low concentration. And these devices are very small, so small that you can fit thousands of them on your phone. So you could have a phone and you speak into it and it could detect chemicals in your breath. Now my mother is diabetic and she has to do blood tests every week. I would love it if she and all those 30 million Americans can stop having to do blood tests and can just speak on the phone and see their blood sugar level on the phone screen. Thank you.